Hello guys, welcome to this short quantum research presentation where we are going to show you how you can build your own portfolios that fit your investment goal and risk tolerance. Please pause the video for a few seconds to read the disclaimer. Alright, we are going to carry out this presentation through a simple case study. Let's assume an investor wants to build a portfolio of stocks and he believes the best sectors to invest in are energy, consumer staples, and real estate. The investor wants to allocate his capital as following: 40% invested in the energy sector, 30% invested in the consumer staples sector, and 25% invested in the real estate. The investor wants to keep 5% in cash. For each sector, the investor has defined criteria to fit his investment goal and risk tolerance. Let's assume the following criteria for the energy sector. Maximum stock to hold is 4 for a maximum holding period of 2 weeks. In terms of risk management, we are going with 2 ATR with a take profit multiplier of 5. In terms of diversification, the investor wants to hold a maximum of 2 stocks per industry in the sector, and the maximum correlation allowed between stock is 80%. In terms of allocation, the capital will be allocated equally between stocks, and we have some extra criteria here. We don't want to invest in micro and nano caps, and the investor also want to invest only in bullish markets. For the consumer staple sector, we have the following criteria. The investor wants to hold a maximum of 3 stocks for a holding period of 2 weeks maximum. In terms of risk management, we are going with 2 ATR with a take profit multiplier of 4. And in terms of diversification, the investor wants to hold a maximum of 1 stock per industry in the sector, and the maximum correlation allowed between stocks in this sector is 80%. In terms of allocation, we are going with the optimal allocation, which means the capital will be allocated to the stocks in a way that minimizes the risk of the portfolio. And as extra criteria, the investor wants to invest only in large, mid, and small cap, and we also want to invest only in bullish markets. For the real estate sector, we basically have the same criteria as the consumer staple sector with a small difference. The stop loss here is 1.5 ATR, and we also want to invest only in stock for which the price is lower than $50. Alright, so now how do we build and backtest this portfolio using quantum research platforms? There are 4 simple steps. In step 1, we will build 3 single strategy, which means 1 strategy for each sector specified earlier. In step 2, we will build a portfolio as a combination of the 3 single strategies. And in step 3 and 4, we are going to backtest the portfolio and activate the portfolio so that it will be automatically managed on a daily basis. Now, let's start the practice. Alright, so let's now create the portfolio on the platform. So when you reach the Quantum Research platform, so you should go to the equity platform. On the account, you have to click on My Strategies, and here is where everything happens. So we will create our portfolio here and also the single strategies. So let's start by creating our single strategies. Click on Create New Strategy, and we are going to start with the energy sector strategy first. Under the second tab, Configure and Run, this is where we will set up all the criteria we have discussed about. So let's start. So the first thing to do is to decide which algorithm we are going to use for asset selection. So let's go with macro pattern mixed strategy. For backtesting, the start date, we are going to choose 1st of May 2022. So in terms of risk management, so we want the ATR type with stop loss of 2 and a take profit multiplier of 5. For the holding period, we want 14 days. So under the market trend forecast parameters, so the user has decided that we want to invest only when we forecast a bullish market. So here we will choose true, and we will keep the algorithm technical analysis driven. And in terms of category, here we will choose sector. So that means we want to invest only when the sector is bullish. Under allocation and diversification parameters, so we said the max correlation is 80%. We say we want a diversification of maximum of 2 stocks per industry, and in terms of allocation, we are going with equal capital allocation. Under asset pool parameters, we will have to choose the number of stocks that we want to hold in the portfolio, which is 4 in our case. For capitalization, the investor wanted to exclude the micro and nano caps, so that's how we do it. And the sector that we chose here is energy sector. Asset class, equity only, and this is a long only portfolio, so there is nothing else to change. Yeah, so I think we have done. So to backtest this configuration, we just have to click here, run strategy. Alright, so we have the result of our strategy. So you can play with the configuration to check, for example, the commission cost and so on. You can check the create allocation here every time the portfolio is rebalanced. You can check the create records. We'll give you all the details of what is happening in the background. Yeah, so if you are satisfied with the strategy, just have to click the button save this strategy. So we will call this strategy energy scrapped, and we have to give a description, energy strategy, and then we save that strategy. So when you save the strategy, you will have your strategy appearing here below, and from here you can check what are the optimal allocation, the current optimal allocation, or the current best asset in this strategy, which means on a daily basis you will be able for this strategy to check what are the optimal stock to invest in according to this strategy. So yeah, so first strategy is created. So I'll have already created the 2 other strategy which follow the same pattern, the real estate strategy and consumer staple strategy. So yeah, to do so you just have to right click on click new create new strategy to create those. So now the next step is to create our portfolio, which will be the combination of the 3 strategy that we have here following the allocation decided by the investor. So let's do that. So create a new strategy. So here to create a new strategy, we first have to give a name to our strategy. Let's call it mixed 3 sectors strategy portfolio, and let's give a description, mix 3 sectors portfolio, and we need to choose a benchmark. So I will go with the S&P 500 and a first valuation date, so I will go with the 1st of May. Okay, so now it's time to add the different strategies in the portfolio. So the first strategy we are going to add is the energy strat. energy strategy. So that's the one that we have just created. So this strategy should be long, and the investor want to allocate 40% to this strategy. So now we add the second strategy, which will be the consumer staple strategy, and here we want to allocate 30%. And then the third strategy, which is the real estate strategy, and here we want to allocate 25%, so that we keep 5% cash. So after you have done that, you need to save the portfolio. When you save the portfolio, you see here that one portfolio has been created, and then you can backtest your portfolio using this button. So run backtest. Okay, so here we have the result of our portfolio. So from here our portfolio is completely built, and then the only thing that the next step that we have to do here is just to go back to edit portfolio, and then from here we can activate the portfolio. So when you activate the portfolio, that is a way to tell the platform that I want this portfolio to be automatically managed on a daily basis. So let's do that. I will activate the portfolio and update portfolio, and yeah, so which means on a daily basis you will be able to see all the changes that are happening on the portfolio, all stock removed, all stock added in the portfolio, and so on. Alright, so now that the investor has created the portfolio and activated it on the platform, what happened next? The investor will automatically receive email notification when portfolio composition has changed, and this before the market opens. So on the right here you can see an example of email notification. The investor can also access the composition of the portfolio at any time via the API, and this could, for example, be used to automate the trading strategy in other systems. Also, the investor can update the portfolio criteria and allocation at any time in the future if it's believed that other sectors are more interesting than the one in the portfolio at the moment. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you guys for attending.